and share. So there's this kind of like this conflict, and then so with the content, it's just experimenting with those aspects. And yeah, it doesn't. So I stepped away from creating content for the last few months because I felt like, yeah, it didn't sit right. And what you shared about it, like sitting and being, yeah, held in the body and sharing from that place, yeah, it wasn't feeling like that. And so yeah, it's really like knowing that, yeah, I'm creating this not even particularly for a certain outcome, because I was having that as well, this expectation or this outcome, like, oh yeah, I'm going to create this and it's going to get a lot of engagement and I'm going to drive people into my funnel and this is blah 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 blah. But yeah, that can happen as a byproduct. But the, the I want the focus to be just this, yeah, just this pouring of this
Real.
yeah, this, yeah, agency, as you
So,
say. Yeah.
right. Yeah. So let's see, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, I did this TikTok binge, right? Where I was like, because I'm really good at content creation and engaging stuff, but I burn out quick. So, like, for me, if I could do and maintain this level of content creation, right? But I'm a line two where you're a line five. So what that means is I tend to need to retreat into myself, and having months of like waves of not posting content doesn't work great. But I decided I was going to figure out how to be really successful at it. Um, Not for the point of consistency or like a result, but just to feel in myself natural at it, right? And so what I did was is I just did a ton for like it was like maybe like a couple months. I just did a lot. I showed up like those crazy influencers that show up all the time. And I blew up my TikTok. I like it was really successful. And then I haven't touched it since. But um, the point is that sometimes, I mean, just something to contemplate is doing it the way to get past it, right? Because oftentimes we stop because it's not there yet. But sometimes continuing is the only way to get there in the first place, even when it doesn't feel steady or natural at all. It's always awkward at first, like, like a baby giraffe. When it's first born, the mom is just kind of like, come on, let's go. And just is fine and keeps going. And the baby's like shaking, trying to catch up and follow her. Um, so it's kind of getting like our sea legs, right? And we tend to, what is it that there's like that whole thing that people say about, yeah, that overnight success took 10 years, right? Like overnight success only looks that way on the outside. Well, what is happening during that time that it's not there yet? I love looking at those stories, right? Like of I remember, so I used to work at the YMCA in my early 20s, which is like a, realize you're not in America, maybe. So, but it's like a nonprofit kind of gym slash, uh, there's like enrichment activity kind of place. And I remember reading about famous people that used to work at the YMCA when they were younger. Oprah Winfrey worked at one when she was the same age as I was. And so I was like, okay, cool, you know? And like that's what that time looked like for her. Like, I think Tony Robbins used to sleep in his car, which is crazy because he's like 6'4", and I'm not sure what car he had, but I hope it wasn't a sedan. But like there's all these crazy stories about where these people used to be. And maybe we're not aiming for where they are at, but if people, if these are I just like to think these are our origin stories. This is when we're in that behind the scenes moment. And this evolution sphere I found with mine, it's starting to become kind of like my low key best friend because it doesn't go anywhere. It's always there. And you learn to, we've been conditioned against this discomfort, right? And it's about reconditioning ourselves to say, oh, hey, old friend, you're back. I'm apparently about to grow. What is it this time? What are we exploring together? Right. And if we can, you know, reassociate it with something positive, that's what I've been doing this last year, is trying to reassociate it as something. Yeah, Maeve, I see. Oh, 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 it's closed. Ask Papa to help you. Um, but if we can reassociate it with positive experiences, right? Which is what, so I'm doing, I have like, I went through a phase where I just like learned everything that I could, right? Sorry. And then, so I am certified in all, I have all sorts of weird letters that I can put after my name, like hypnosis, NLP, MER, all that stuff. And so one of my favorite tools is MER. And so during the integration week of the retreat, I'm doing a live MER session where it's this timeline therapy where we do that. And I think it's going to be extra potent for this sphere because it is such a pressure point. It's that first really deep, difficult thing for our conditioning as humans to navigate, which is here's the hard thing. Here's how hard things feel for you, right? And how to integrate that. And my goal with it is going to be to help us all recondition it into a positive association. I'm uncomfortable. Yay! Something good is coming. Yeah.
Yeah, my evolution is 59.5. So it's around the victim of dishonesty, gift of intimacy, and the city of transparency. So yeah, it's fitting for how I feel like I want to show up in the world, and also yeah, really feeling it. Okay, this is what I need to learn. Um, but it's also that I love the sage lines for
Mm-hmm.
these spheres as well. So like my life's work sage um, is the lightning bolt, and the sutra is the storm rider. And I was like,
That's
okay,
so
it makes so much
right.
sense,
Like,
yeah, because it's like moving through there's like these emotions, and if they're perceived good or bad or positive or negative, whatever it may be, it's like it's it's riding the wave of those. Um, and then the 59.5 is the power of love. So it's really tapping into unconditional love. Um, beyond the sutra is quite beautiful. Let me see if I can just quickly
yeah.
pull it up because it's
Um, so I don't know. I know like you'd mentioned breath work and stuff, so I know that you're not new to woo woo stuff, at least. But I don't know what you know about human design or anything like that. So 55. Do you know why 55 is a really big deal right now?
is it that we're moving into this. I think I heard Richard mention it. Like, is
Hmm.
this the next? Like,
Yeah, it's basically this genetic trigger point for this evolution that's occurring, and it's like the heaviest part of the trigger point, right? And so just out of my own curiosity, I have to like remember to zoom back in and just focus on the one sphere, just for my own curiosity about your uh do you remember what your radiance and your purpose is?
so my radiance is 9-1, and my purpose is 16-1.
Oh, okay. That's cool because you have a little bit of the old and a little bit of the new. The old, the one that we're stepping out of, your radiance and your purpose are half of it, right? So this activation sequence in human design is called an incarnation cross.
Mhm,
And so uh, the current one that rules this epoch has those
mhm,
two in it, and the next epoch has your other two in it. And
mhm.
that's really cool.
Yeah. It's
But,
it's interesting that you say that because so I've delved into a lot of like delved into a lot of Eastern wisdom.
mhm,
Um, yeah, e deep into like yoga and Vedic teachings, and then I also spent a lot of time with yogis that were from the city yogas
mhm,
and like studying and learning from them. And so when I came like I first heard about Gene Keys like 4 years ago, but the information was just it didn't land for me.
it
And
wasn't
so when I
time.
came back around to it now, it, it clicks. But obviously I'm still like very new to it. But that Eastern wisdom, and then also I've done work in like modern, and I've
Mhm,
always felt this like blending this East and West, and this like uh, this this wave of like bringing something where it's like this ancient wisdom but into a new modern way, if that makes sense. So
mhm.
when you just shared that, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can, yeah, feel that resonance.
Well, that's what it's funny because the way that you just worded that, that's like what my incarnation cross does. Is it takes the old and the new and it kind of like bridges it because 13 represents the path, the seed in the past. Seven represents the fruit in the future, and they both kind of like juxtaposition look in the opposite direction. And my incarnation cross is called the Sphinx, which is also part of this change because the earth itself has these two different incarnation cross energies, and mine is one of them. And so I just find it really interesting too, because it's all archetypal, right? It's all just archetypal. And so, like, I mean, when you have this background in all these different archetypal expressions, like that's why I picked up human design and gene keys so easily because I had already studied the so gene keys is like the it's like an evolution of human design sort of. It's like a spin-off, right? And human design is based on these four different pillars that are ancient esoteric teachings that I had a huge background in, that I had been studying my whole life. And so when this just happened, when I think it was 2020 ish, give or take, that I learned about human design for the first time. And first, well, I dove in immediately. It was the right time for me. But it just like came pretty seamlessly because I recognized the archetypes, right? It's like it's like when you're baking, you have all these ingredients and somehow you can make all these different things with it. It's the same five ingredients, right? It's kind of like that. And you just get to know them like old friends and trust them, and you can see them changing shape into different forms. So, and it's interesting, you were talking about the different modalities that you have used seems to be more physical, embodied, like somatic modalities, right?
Mhm.
Is that, do you find that that is something, based on what we've talked about? I'm interested to see what you say about this. Is, I mean, regardless, I wouldn't ask a question I wasn't interested in, but um, do you feel that you're drawn to that because it's what you need more of, or what comes naturally, or kind of a paradoxical mix?
That's a good question. See, this is something that I've been contemplating on. It's like it's pretty much exactly what you just shared. Is like reflecting on what I've been doing and what I've done and what I've been drawn to. is it from a place of expansion and what comes natural to me, or is it feeding this victim pattern and loop, like, oh, I have to do that because that would make me worthy, and then from there I can share that, okay, I have this and now I can help you. And I feel like in some instances I kind of did that. So I had this big thing of, yeah, I went to India, and I studied a lot, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to become a spiritual master. And I had the energy for it. I felt the energy. Like I'm a sacral generator, so I felt it in my body, and like, yeah, this feels good, and I want to do it. But then it got to a point where it no longer started to feel in alignment, and it fell off. So I had to step back. Um, and then a part of me like reflected on it. I was like, yes, I've learned a lot. It's part of my journey, but was I in this loop and I felt I was like, okay, I need to do this so then I can be worthy and deserving, and like, yes, I can now help you because I have the knowledge, I have the wisdom. And it's, I guess that's the line 5. It's like, yes, I'm here, I'm ready, rather than being like coming from here, from the body. Um yeah, and so
Yeah.
it's a mixture of both.
Well, here, listen. This is what I. So 13 also is called the Fellowship of Man. It's the listener. So like reading between the lines, just like kind of naturally, and I get it kind of as just like understandings clicking into place. And so I have to be really intentional not to like act like I'm dictating something because we're supposed to ask it in question form. Like that's what we do, and like that's not what I do because it's just not. But I still try to make it feel autonomous for you. Um, but it's because of what I was hearing, right? And that was your evolution sphere. I mean, right? Like that, were you being maybe dishonest with yourself? And then you started to realize and be more like the transparency was starting to pull through for you, right? And it's like you were able to see more clearly,
Mhm,
okay, this is beautiful and amazing. And am I being honest with myself about the right reason? And I think this really, I don't fully grasp people who stay asleep because that's a, whatever, that's a choice, right? But when it comes to those of us that are doing the work and can't help it, I find some of us can't help ourselves, but dive into this kind of stuff. We keep, it's like a momentum force internally that we can't do any, like there's no, it's not an option. We continue to dive into it, right? It comes so naturally. And when that when you have that self propelling desire to do that work, it's like we can only sustain it for so long until we would have to like consciously and actively deny that truth, right? Where it becomes transparent. And then now that I'm saying that, right? What if what if we just allowed that to be how it works? Where we do the things that we feel called to do. And if we realize that it's not the thing anymore, we let that cycle end. Maybe that was exactly what you needed, right? And so then it doesn't matter if it's about feeling worthy or not. Because do you feel, well, do you have less of whatever that was that you were trying to heal now? Right?
um yeah, it's a good question. I love how you, yeah, that's, yeah, it's been in my like sphere, like in my field around, okay, yeah, maybe it was supposed to be that way. um
Whatever that means, right?
yeah. And but but like I shared at the beginning, this urgency, and there's also a layer of like
Hmm.
frustration there. It's like, oh, so why did I have to just do all that, and I'd be like, why why can't I just why can't it just flow? Like, why can't I just be in this phase where it just flows like the storm rider, like my life's work, that sage is like, okay, yeah, it just rides the wave. Why do I have to crash and like go back onto the surfboard and then ride it again? And it's just this questioning, it's like this constant questioning. And rather than, again, you shared it, it's just like allowing, like, okay, allowing the mind to just, that it's
Hmm.
going to question, but
I'm so
um,
excited for you to do your radiance with 9.
yeah,
That's going to be really juicy for you. It's
yeah,
about the power of the small and the
mhm,
small having power over you, or do you have power over it? And that's exactly what you're talking about right now.
mhm,
And that
yeah,
one I have that in my chart. That's the I'm also well, I'm an emotional generator, but I only have one panel that makes me a generator, and it's the 952. And so 9, even though it's not super in a super prominent place in my chart, really resonates because that's how I access that sacral energy. And so whenever I'm starting to feel kind of like, like I'm not able to tap into it, I have to remind myself, like, am I letting the small have power over me, or do I have power over it? Am I using it with intention, or is it intentionally used, or is it using me? Um,
mhm,
and I'm spinning my wheels, right?
mhm, mhm.
But this is all, it all comes back to that evolution sphere, right? Because, like, are you a 5'2", by the
5-1.
way? 5'1"? Oh, that surprises me. Um, that's interesting. And again, this is not how anybody teaches anybody to guide like this, but this softness that you have around you, this um, conscious leader energy that you have around you, does that feel like the natural way to express yourself in the world, or does that feel like the way that you feel like you're supposed to doing this work?
There is an element of me that wants to be expressive and fun and like, yeah, there's joy. It's like, yeah, I guess that's my generator. It just wants to feel the joy. But it's also, again, am I being just overthinking it? Like, yeah, is this really what I want? Do I really know what I want? Sometimes I question, like, do I
Do you
really know
need to know
myself?
what you want?
do I do I need to
Hmm.
know? Yeah, I guess not. But then what what do I do?
Right. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Becomes
And
like
so
a koan.
and so yeah, and then it's do I because my purpose city is mastery. And so um it, that from the mind point of view, that makes sense. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm going through this process now. It's because it's like you shared before, it's like for the long game. It's like people share, like, it's not overnight, it's like a decade's worth of work. And it's like this step by step process. um and so that's the mastery. It's not like I used to love like seeing people that are just like masters in their craft, or in what they do and how they share. It's like, oh wow, I love that. That's like inspiring. Whatever it may be, and in their gift, in their expression, that they're just sharing that um in their
You know they're a master though.
it just mastery in terms of, yeah, how it's delivered you
Is
know
it because they have a following, an influence?
No,
Or
not
is it
necessarily.
because, okay, cool. Yeah. So it's like you can feel it
Mm,
in how they show up, right? It's that
mm,
embodied mastery.
mm,
So 5 ones, and I'm gonna shift to human design. I think this is gonna help you a little bit here. So I've worked with a lot of 5 ones. I've attracted them. I don't know. I think it's because in part, oftentimes 5 ones tend to be abrasive. You aren't at all, which is why I asked that question. Oftentimes there's like this edge to 5 ones, which is why I wanted to like open the idea of, if you feel that there's kind of like this soft cushion bubble wrap you feel like you put around yourself, just something to consider. But I have known some 5 ones that are like just like also not that standard five, because there's so much more to us than just that, right? Um, Saying that, um, 5 ones, it's this really interesting, it's like, okay, I'm the leader. Okay, I'm introspecting. Okay, I have to organize this and keep things happening or they won't happen. It's all on me. I'm the responsible one. Okay, now I need to go in my head. And so there's this spiral that kind of happens where it's like, but I need to have a path to follow. So with 5 ones, I find line fives in general, right? You look up for authority, somebody to tell you the path, and then you're also great at leading. So then you like look down to tell other people how to implement it, right? And so it's like this middle management mentality thing that happens. But the hard part about this is that then you feel like you can't create, sometimes you can't create your own path, even though you're very competent, right? Where you look up for direction to somebody who knows more than you that can tell you what to do, because you're really good at implementing it if somebody just told you what to do, right? But that doesn't mean that you're not also really good at creating the path, right? And and then it's this over responsibility for the right thing because you're the one that is showing other people how to, like, you're leading others. And so then with this five, you do the five thing, right? And then with the one, you go in your head and you think it to death because you care so much, right? About doing the right thing. And so it becomes this vicious cycle. So I'm glad that you came today, especially, and I hope to see you um during the Radiance sphere just because that's extra fun. Um and what was I gonna say? It was important. um, but also to remember how important connection and community is going to be for you, to ground you and pull you outside of your head, right? To realize and remember in an embodied way rather than in that introspective line one in your head way, that mastery is only about how you've done the same thing for so long that you don't even think about doing it, right? So if you're thinking about it, that's okay because you're in the journey. But we're all in the journey on something, even the masters, right? They have that mastery area, but there's all that other stuff that they don't know what the hell they're doing with either, right? And so it's just to remember that you're human and to put that weight down a little bit and to hear that. The retreat is just so wonderful for this stuff, right? Because then we can hear from other people and it makes us feel less alone. It makes us feel more competent. Community and connection and group contemplation. I think, like, in so much of this woo stuff, we tend to have this dictation process happen, right? This is your reading. I read it to you. I told you who you are. Or you told me your problem and I'm going to help you solve it. And it's this like authority ick. And then that's it. And there's no conversation happening. And there's no like the conversation is so important because if we just contemplate in our heads, we get stuck or we get lost there. Like, we're social beings, and some of us need more community than others, but we all need, and it's whether or not we have a self-worth problem, or like a lack of it, or insecurity, or any of that, like, we all still want to hear, like, it's okay, right? We all still want to hear that, and that doesn't always come in direct, like, reassurance, but like, you're not alone, this is hard. That's what we're here to do, is to feel this, and that's what the evolution sphere is all about, right? Is like, how do I how is how is this pain point, this struggle, this suffering, how can I make it, for lack of better words, productive, right? And actually, I think it's a great word, because we want to be productive because we've been conditioned. The goal is productivity, right? So how can we make it productive? And it's through that shift from that shadow to that gift. That's how we find it, right? And the city is the culmination of all of it. I think that's really important to know, that the city, the citic state, is the ugly part and the pretty part, right? And having embraced both and loving both, and learning to love the shadow as much as the gift, because it's equally valuable and worthy, just like every part of us, right? Is equally valuable and worthy. And sometimes, if we were here to, like, we want to help others. That's what we're here. We want to help others. Sometimes, actually, when I'm vulnerable and I talk about my mess, that's when I tend to help others more than if I had it all together all the time. We learn by being in the mud together, not by, well, here's how here's how I got perfect, right? Like, that sucks. Nobody wants to listen to that. Here's how I became perfect and you can be too. Like, no, thank you, right? So we have to hear it from other people to know, oh crap, that is what I was doing in my head. I just didn't use those objective words.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that I made that shift, and that's when I was like, "Oh, yeah, I need to make more content that is less perfect and more vulnerable." But then I fell into a trap, like, "Oh, I don't feel like this is the victim. I don't feel like I've really done anything that's transformational, or, you know, that can really help people." And then, okay, yeah, I can't really help you because I don't know.
Well, that's exactly what you talk about. That's the funny thing. You talk about that, how you feel like that you haven't done anything transformational or important, so you can't help other people through something transformational and important, right?
But then in my head, that's like, okay, why was the point in sharing that? Like, who wants to hear that?
People who also feel like they haven't done anything that
Okay.
feels right, so that they feel, and I guarantee you, you have. That's the other piece, right? Is that that's you feeling like, well, like, so I get it, because for me, I have this massive, crazy ass backstory that I can use. I don't, though, because I don't want to be that person. Like, I do the opposite thing where I'm like, I've gone through so much heavy transformational stuff. I just want to put it down. And so then I don't bring it into my, like, I forget to bring it into my work sometimes, right? But it's like, sometimes I wish that I had a lighter point of view, right? Because I have been through so much transformation. Sometimes I wonder if I'm hard to relate to, because I don't think most people have experienced the crazy bullshit that I've experienced, right? And so I forget what it's like to have not seen so much darkness, right? And so it's like, all of us are important. in this process. We need all of us. There are people out there, and it may just be, let's say it's like 5 people in this next year that you say something because you have a powerful voice. You're like easy to get along with. Like this has been fun, right? And let's say, and you won't. Here's the thing. Oh, okay. No, this is a great story. This will get my point across. Okay. So when I was probably in my mid 20s, late 20s, 5, 10 years ago, I was dancing at a club with some friends, right? This is not something I do at this point in my life, but and there was this guy, and he kept like getting really close to us. And I was like when I go out with my friends, I'm like ready to throw down and like leave us alone. And then he was like, no, 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 hold on. And he pulled me aside and he goes, no, when we were in middle school, I recognized you because when we were in middle school, I had just moved here from California. I'm in Vermont on the other side of the country, and I had no friends. But you invited me to sit with you at lunch. And like it makes me emotional. And like I don't think you realized it, but that changed everything for me because I was terrified. And you introduced me to like your friends, and I made friends, and it was just like really important. So when I saw you, I didn't know how to approach you, but I needed to thank you. And it's like I remember that in retrospect, but like that's not why I did it. That's not, I don't even remember why I did it. I just did it, right? And so those are the things, and I didn't even know that that mattered until 15 years later, right? And so you don't even know the people by sharing your voice that you're helping. And you're going to feel stupid at first, especially. I felt so stupid when I did that TikTok stuff. I did like affiliate videos because I was like, I'm gonna feel real stupid if I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go all in. And like the ridiculous things that I did videos for, like those weird chicken cutlets that women put in their like bras, right? I did a video for that and I was so outside of my comfort zone because I'm very like kind of like have like a stoic like when it comes to certain things, right? And I just pushed myself to do it anyway. And I was like, if I'm gonna feel stupid, I'm gonna get really good at feeling stupid, you know? And now I mean you can see like I'm so comfortable. Like I could go on a stage probably with like 10,000 people and it would feel fine. Because you just do it over and over and over again. That's mastery, right? That's what it is. It's becoming jaded and desensitized in some ways. That's also embodiment. Weird. It's, this is all weird, right?
Weird and wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Awe. Strange and full of awe.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Mm. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been good. Appreciate your your sharing your wisdom. Um, yeah, looking forward to the next the next
Yeah.
call. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming. It was a good one. And see, like again, too, right? Like it was just one person today because I was kind of behind on getting my stuff out. And it was the exact one person that needed to be here today, you know? And that's all there is to it.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
so much. You should I think I've saw it on the schedule. It's like the MER for this.
Yep. I'm going to send out an email actually either this afternoon or tomorrow morning that has the updated schedule and everything to just like create a clean sweep after kind of last month being a little bit speed bumpy. So you'll get an email with all of that in it, like I said, either tonight or tomorrow. It's not until the 4th week. So there's another 2 weeks. I'm doing something every other week. So
Mhm.
there's time in between.
Yeah,
But it's at the same time, I believe.
Yeah. That will be my, that's my, yeah, my birthday week. Yeah.
Nice. Oh yeah, because you would be a Pisces, right?
Yeah, Pisces, yeah.
Yep. I'm on Aquarius, so I just had my birthday week last week.
Oh, did you? Oh,
So
happy
mhm.
belated birthday.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right, new friend. I will talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Yeah. You too.
Speak soon.